Good day, everyone. Happy Monday. It is June the 9th of 2025 at 7:46 a.m. in the morning, coming to you from the communist shithole known as Ontario, Canada. And, well, no one watches my videos, really. I get a few viewers, and that's all. But that's okay. But sometimes the things I talk about, there's one person out there who is really helped by something I said or something I talked about. So I continue on, and if only 20 people watch it, maybe one of them will get something out of it. So that's why I'm going to talk about what I'm going to talk about today. There's an epidemic of depression out there. Never before in the history of this world have we seen so much mental illness and depression, suicide ideation, and here in this communist shithole of Canada, self-deletion is not only legal but encouraged. They literally want you to do that. They're making it as easy as possible. They're trying to extend it to more and more people. The mentally ill can now just go and, yeah, they're mentally ill, but they can make the decision to do that and no one can stop them. Crazy. Just crazy. And the reason that's crazy is because people generally change their minds after a while. They don't want to do it, but if they do it, they don't get to change their mind, obviously. So this is really a troubling thing to me. When it comes to depression, I don't think there's anything I know as much about. I know a fair bit about music and, I know world events and a few other things, shamanism and psychedelics, but I really know depression. I've had 2 divorces. I've been cast out of my family. I've been completely alone for almost a decade. Believe me, I know depression. I've always referred to it as descending into the black hole, because that's exactly what it feels like. You're in a black hole that just keeps sucking you in deeper and deeper into it, and it's really hard to get out. It's really hard to get out. And I know there's a whole bunch of people out there, maybe just one of them is going to watch this video. And if I help one person, that made it worthwhile, like I say. So, depression, there's a few aspects to it that can indicate you're starting to get in serious trouble. Severely depressed people will almost always stop showering. That's one thing they just stop caring about that. And that's one of the most important things not to do. If you stop taking care of yourself and you just don't care, you don't get a shower, 3 days goes by, you still haven't showered, that means you're in trouble. That means it's time to really get some help and figure it out. Drugs, obviously, are another thing that people will reach for, naturally. Depression gets so bad after a while, you don't just want relief, you need relief, or you can't take it. Everyone has a threshold of what they can deal with. And the depression can come from anything. It doesn't matter what it comes from. Once it hits and starts to progress, you will eventually reach for something. Now, if I said reaching for self-deletion versus reaching for drugs to ease the pain, obviously drugs are the preferable one of those two. But drugs and alcohol especially, alcohol is a depressant, so a lot of people go for booze. at the time you're drinking, you might feel a little better. Alcohol will depress your system and make that depression worse over, it doesn't even take long, fairly short period of time. So while that is usually what I did to deal with the depression, was mostly alcohol, but also then I get into hard drugs, and I'm not embarrassed to talk about this stuff. There's nothing embarrassing about it, really. It's a part of humanity. It's something that happens to us. But the alcohol especially, boy, that did a number on me. That did indeed make it worse. Now then we got the antidepressant route people take. This is the worst one of all. Almost, I think 60 million Americans are on those things. 60 million. There's I looked it up yesterday. I think it's 340 million people in the country. 60 million of them are on some sort of psych meds, mostly SSRIs. It's a selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor. So just to give you a little idea of what, I'm not a chemist or anything, but serotonin is a neurotransmitter in your brain. It's secreted, basically. It's created and injected into your system. And then there's a reuptake of it. So it does its thing, and then it's taken back up and cycles through the system again. So a reuptake inhibitor stops that from happening. It doesn't get to do its reuptake. It just, so you're pumping more serotonin into the system. And that messes with your chemistry in ways that no one really fully understands. If you're one of the people that says we shouldn't play with nature, then you realize you shouldn't take those things, because that's what they're doing. So even though they seem to help some people, they have a terrible withdrawal syndrome as well. If you get on those things for a while, you can't stop without a weaning program, and that weaning program can take a long time to get off of them. I've gone through just a teensy-weensy bit of withdrawal from SSRIs. My friend had to walk me around the block, and 3 a.m, we're walking around the block because I couldn't sit still. It was so horrible. It was just like my whole body was electrified, and I just couldn't sit still. I had to move, and it went on for days and days. It was really terrible, really terrible. So I do not recommend that. If there's anything I can do, if you just need someone to chat with or something, I'm here, and I'm not a counselor, not a therapist, not a psychiatrist, don't claim to be. But as I say, I do know a lot about depression, and I'd be happy to try to help. I think the biggest thing that's making people depressed is, like it has been for me, loneliness. Just being completely alone. They've isolated everybody. Social media is the main culprit for that. Social media, the young generation, Gen Z, half of them are terrified to go outside of their houses. They're in their bedrooms watching anime, which is really hard on the brain. That's basically sorcery. Anime is all bad. And they're afraid to have actual interaction with people, and everyone is just hiding behind the screen, communicating virtually, which, that can be okay as a side thing, but it can't be the only interaction you have. That will eventually suck you into the black hole. So you need to have human interaction. They've even proven that we need touch. We need to actually touch each other, like hugs, whatever, I'm not saying in a sexual way, but we need some sort of actual human contact. Or we descend into the black hole eventually. I know this to be true. I know this to be 100% true. Now, going to your doctor, telling him you're depressed, I promise you, the only thing he's going to do is tell you you need pills. This is untrue. This is untrue. While I'm not a doctor, as I just said, I don't need to be a doctor to know that. I've studied what's happened to the world because of those things. If you can stay off of those, please do. They will not take you to any good place. They just don't. For me, if it wasn't for my cats, then I'd feel like I really did have nothing. My cats are precious. They're sleeping right now. Usually you see them walking around in my videos, but they're snoozing it off at the moment. So if you're in a situation where you can get one of them, a pet of some sort, it doesn't matter if it's a hermit crab, but you can get very attached to a hermit crab. My ex-wife used to have them. I used to love them, actually. Very cool. Pets are probably the number one, I don't want to say cure, but the number one treatment, as far as my recommendations go. They actually take cats and dogs and stuff to old folks' homes to let them play with the cats and lift their moods. People who are depressed, there's something about playing with a cat or a dog or whatever. It just helps. It just really helps. So that's always a good option. Music. Music will either suck you deeper into the black hole if you're listening to the wrong stuff, but if you're listening to the right music, that's really good. That's, again, music therapy is something else that people are learning all about and studying its effects. That is a good alternative to pills, big time. And playing music, even more so. So I actually got a student from this channel. It's the first one I ever got from this YouTube channel, but he watched one of my videos and he left me a comment. He's like, man, I'd like to learn more about guitar. Do you think you could teach me? So we set up lessons, and I've been teaching once a week for, 3 months now, something like that. Great student. It's going really well, and he's doing excellent, actually. I can't recommend that enough. You can get a cheap ukulele, you can get a bass, get a guitar, get a little keyboard. Does not matter what it is. If you are in depression, there's something about music that lights up the brain, the whole entire brain. Every neuron just fires right up. It's wild what playing music does. So I don't have a magic bullet for you. I wish I did. Human interaction, I guess, would be the biggest thing of all that helps it, because that's what causes it, is lack of that. Or it could be, maybe you lost somebody close to you, they passed away. Divorce, that one will take you into the black hole quickly and may not even let you out. That one is brutal. I've been through that twice. That's how I ended up trying to end my own life. So it's nothing to take lightly. It's very serious. Now, when you're depressed and you're looking for comfort from your friends, and here's the first thing I'm going to tell you. When you're really depressed, no one's going to want to be around you. Plain and simple. You think you got friends, and then you get depressed and you realize, nope, I don't really have any, because they want nothing to do with me unless I'm in my normal state. And that is, unfortunately, the truth. So if you're really depressed, you think your friends are going to be there to support you. Some of them might, but it's very unlikely. It's very unlikely. You have a better chance of a stranger trying to help you than you do your friends being there for you. And even your family, too. They may just tell you, you'll hear things like, oh, come on, get over it, get off your ass and do something, stop being a baby. I mean, I've heard everything like that. So expect that, and know it's just part of human nature. Try not to get too upset about it, because it's going to happen. Someone is going to do that to you. And yeah, I think I'll leave it there. I don't really have a magic bullet, as I say. It's an epidemic. I know so many people who are very, very depressed right now. And some of them have come to me and, asked for a little bit of support and help, and I offer what I can. But as I say, I do not have a magic bullet for you. And I have a feeling that it's all going to get worse, because we're going to have a social credit system before too long, and a lot of people are going to be cast out of society. That's going to cause depression like no one's ever seen before, and it's already bad enough now, but it's heading for even worse, for sure. So let me know if there's anything I can do. Let me know if you want guitar lessons. Glad to do what I can. But depression, that's an evil animal, boy. That'll take you to places you really don't want to be. So keep your chin up, and I hope things get better for you if you're one of those people suffering.